This is a sort of an add-on to the video where I was going over. Lenny6118 said, stick to the American way. Stick to gallons and ounces, because I'm confusing a lot of people with the metric, with liters and milliliters. Okay, well, let's try it this way. If I was to do it in ounces, if you were to do a gallon is 128 ounces. But that's water. Gasoline is less dense than water, so you're going to have to figure out exactly how much it weighs per gallon. And then you're going to have to take 128 and figure out a way to make it into a percentage. So say 32 to 1, 128 gallons. I could figure out a way to do it. 32 to 1, well, 25 to 1. So let's try that one. 25 to 1 would be, well, first we need to figure out how much, if for each, see, this is when the conversions really get in the way of something so simple. With milliliters, it's just ones and zeros. That's it. Liters and milliliters. All it is ones and zeros. Now you're going to have to figure out a way, and all the apps, every app you will find is with milliliters and liters when it comes to mixing fuel and oil. So first you got to figure out a percentage for each ounce, basically. So 128, that would be, I need a calculator. Okay. So each ounce would be about 0.78%. Yeah, it's honestly not worth the time, not worth the pain. Well, not, I guess I wouldn't say pain. Just trying to figure out what each of just the conversion going from, like I said, going from milliliter, from the metric to imperial. Certain things I could understand, but when you're looking at, like some of these, 31.25, you need 31.25 for 32 to 1. It's 31.25 milliliters. So how would you figure that out in ounces? Because right now we're dealing with 1,000 milliliters. If you were to go up to a gallon, you're looking at, let's actually find that out. How many liters are in a gallon? How many liters are in a gallon?
1 U.S. liquid gallon equals 3.785 liters.
So 3.785 liters. So once you actually figure this out for 1,000 milliliters, you would just say 31.25. You would just take the 31.25 times 3.785, and that will give you the right amount of milliliters. I could sit down and write out a chart, figure out all the conversions for Imperial, for using gallons and ounces, because they sort of do go hand in hand. But like I said in the original video, it's just honestly a pain in the butt, because you have to deal with so many conversions. And when you're dealing with metrics, once you learn metric, it is so simple. And I mean, pretty much all RCs, you're already in metric in one way or another, be it tools, millimeter, 2 millimeter, 2.5, 3 millimeter. That's usually the tool sizes, except when you get up to 5th scale, you're going to get bigger than that. And also you got to use some Torx bits, and also the tanks, fuel tanks on nitros. You're usually working with milliliters. How many milliliter tanks? A JATO has about 100, either 100 or 125 milliliter tank, not ounce tank, milliliter. So, I mean, even people that are new to fifth scale understand that you're going to have to understand and learn metric and how it works. And the biggest thing is, it's not hard. Lenny said that it confuses people. What is there to confuse? There's 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter, and the video I made basically spelled it all out. I guess for some people, I guess gallon and ounces would be better, but it wouldn't be as precise because a gallon there's 128 ounces. But with a liter, there's 1,000 milliliters. So you can be much more precise with milliliters and liters than you can be with gallons and ounces. Because even with gallons, you're going to have to use milliliters for the oil. Because we don't measure the oil in ounces. We don't measure it in cups. We don't measure it. I mean, sure, there is an ounce over here, but it goes half, 1, and then 2. So yeah, I mean, tablespoons. But that's all imperial, so you're going to have, instead of just remembering ones and zeros, you're going to have to memorize a lot of conversions if you want to run different, because you're going to have to convert it from metric over to gallons and ounces. Because, like I said, every app that I have found and everything online that has to do with the subject is all in metric. I know it sticks to the American way, but America is wrong when it comes to certain things. Like I said, in the entire world, there are over 200 countries. And of these 200 countries, there are only 2 that use the imperial system. 2. America, United States of America. I love my country. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love my country. I love my freedoms. I love the fact that we can do and say whatever we want without... I mean, we have crooked politicians, but that's nothing new. That's every government. But the way we can live in America is better than the way you can live in any other country. And a lot of people say America, like Jeff Daniels in that one very famous where the girl stood up and said, "Why is America the most greatest country?" And he spoke up and said, "America isn't the greatest country." Well, I have to disagree. America may not be number one in everything, but what country is? You can't have a country, I mean, sure, if America really wanted to and all Americans really put their best foot forward, we could be number one in everything, but that wouldn't really be realistic. But Jeff Daniels just started going over one thing after another, where we rank throughout the world. But when it comes to standard of living, like myself, I live paycheck to paycheck. I have a RC collection of over $35,000 in less than 2 years. I'm doing pretty good, I would say. You wouldn't be able to do this in China. So I was watching a video on people that work on iPhones in China, and they would be working 12-hour days, but only 10 and a half hours would be accounted for because they have an hour and a half break. And there was one guy, he actually went undercover and worked at a iPhone factory, and we've all heard the stories of those people actually committing suicide. The boredom is horrible. This one guy, all he did was insert one screw that held the speaker in place on the iPhone. That's why I don't own iPhone. I don't like Apple products because, I mean, too simple. For some people that may be good, but for me, I like things that are a little more complicated. And also, I mean, like this. This is my fiance's newest phone. This is the Samsung S8. With the Samsung S8, I will say this. They took the only thing they didn't do, first I'll say this. They took the best features of every single phone out on the market right now and put it in this phone. The only thing they did not is a dual camera. But the Note 8 is coming and it's going to have a dual camera. And it's supposed to have a 6.5 inch screen. This is the S8 Plus that has a 6.2 inch screen. I've played with this phone. As of right now, I have an LG V20. I love it. Am I jealous? Yes. I love this phone. I love the way everything's set up. It's set up like any other Android phone. Once you learn it, you have no problem with it. And that's sort of how the metric system is. And metric, like I said, it's very easy. All it is ones and zeros. There's no conversions to go from ounces to, to go from, figure out how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon, how many tablespoons are in a cup, how many cups are in a pint, how many pints are in a quart, how many quarts are in a gallon. That's where it sort of starts getting it starts driving you a little nutty. And with just a calculator and these two things right here, I can measure what I need for one of my vehicles, say my 5T, 30 to 1. That would be 33.3 milliliters to 1,000 liters of fuel. So I fill this up, and then I put 33.3, I measure out 33.3 milliliters. First, I would, when I do it, I pour the oil in, and then I add the gas. When adding the gas, it mixes up the oil. Actually, I'm going to end this video, and then I'm going to do how I mix oil and fuel. So, that'll be the next video. So that's my sort of little rant on why metric is used with fifth scales and not imperial, the imperial system, such as gallons, ounces, and all that stuff. You can be more precise, and you don't have to worry about all the conversions that you'll have to carry around a piece of paper to figure out what conversions, or if you have a good memory, you can actually remember the conversions. It's just simpler. So, thank you. Peace.